Welcome back. You're still watching the conversation coming to you from TV 360 here in Lagos, Nigeria. My name remains Nelson Ekudimi, and I still have with me in the studio Comrade Popola Ajayi, popularly called African Pope. Comrade Pope, want to look at the electoral umpire. We are in a democracy, and you and I know for free that we're a country governed by laws. And even our elections or our electoral process is governed by laws. We want to, on the conversation, we want to start having a conversation around educating our people on the provisions of the electoral system or what it entails. We have seen situations repeatedly where people lose elections and the next thing they are holding the electoral umpire responsible for their electoral loss, for their failure. We have also seen situations whereby our people will tell you, whether I vote or I no vote, they don't know who will win. They have, and you and I were living witnesses to the developments, the involvements, the giant strides we have made under our electoral process. I remember vividly well when we returned to democracy under this dispensation in 1999. We had elections then that were more like the less you vote, the more the figures that will be returned. That was the time where we had elections where I remember a particular electoral dispute which I was involved in. That was in Osun State in 2000 and I think 2001. The 2000 and should be the 2004 thereabout. The election that brought in Chief Olagunsoye Oyinlola,
okay.
When he defeated
2003.
Yes. So in looking at the electoral disputes, I was able to get the number of voters in a particular local government. And lo and behold, in that local government, they had about 12,000 voters. And when the results were returned for that election, 14,000 people voted. But we have passed that stage. Even though when the party that lost went to court, the court nullified that election, that the manipulation was just. And again, our electoral system stipulates that elections must be conducted in substantial compliance. It didn't say total compliance because it's not possible for you to have total compliance. But once substantial compliance has been met, election is deemed valid. And our elections or our electoral system is governed by laws. And what do we mean by that? The law that sets up INEC or LASEC also gives it the power to make rules and regulations governing an election.
Yes.
That's why LASEC can say the Electoral Act stipulates that the electoral umpire will hold election every electoral cycle, whether 4 years or whatever year is determined by the law. But how that election will be conducted is the responsibility of the umpire. Yeah. The umpire will say elections will be held between 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. The law will not tell him. The law will not tell him this is the time you must hold it.
No.
And that is why or
even to fix the date.
And that is why it's even such that when elections are held, the electoral umpire will tell you that once you're on the queue before the closing time,
you must vote.
Yes. That is part of the rules and regulations under. And part of the rules and regulations under their care is that for you to be able to vote, you must have a PVC. The electoral law only says registered voter. But they can go an extra mile to give you a voter's card.
Yes.
The law will not recognize, the law does not say they must give a voter's card, but the law gives them the power to set some rules. So because we have seen situations where our people, when they express their opinion a lot of times on the electoral process, you recognize that they are speaking from the point of ignorance. Yeah. And that ignorance, we don't want it to continue to fester because we want to involve a lot of our young ones in our electoral system.
Well, the unfortunate thing is this. Today, there are a lot of distractions. particularly among the
young ones.
the young ones, they are glued to their phones. And what is it that they are using the phone for? Just to chat, to look at,
To take pictures.
To take pictures, then chat all the way, or to watch films and what have you. So,
Or play games.
Or play games. So the education side of it, they don't care.
It's lost on
they don't even follow news. They don't read these reports, that they have even on that phone. So even some of them that are students will not even, search for materials on, So it's that bad. So it's that terrible. Then for the elderly ones, in fact, the elderly ones are even more conscious than the...
But Pope, what happened? Where did we miss the ball? I remember when we were growing up, every 9 o'clock, once you hear that NTA signature tune, everybody will gather to watch the news at 9.
Yes.
In most families, they will go to bed only after the news. But now, some people don't even know when they read the news. I met a university undergraduate yesterday, and I was like, do you watch channels? Do you watch TVC? I was mentioning television station.
So-called popular...
And she said, she has never... I said, what? A university undergraduate? You don't watch TV? So you don't know what is happening?
You should have asked the person his or her source of information.
No, one of them told me, he said, Uncle, stop disturbing yourself. You see, this is our generation. It's copy and paste. Whatever we see somewhere, we just carry it. They don't interrogate anything. That is why the fake news industry is a very thriving one.
Okay, that's the biggest. In the beginning, I said we have a lot of distraction. Growing up, the source of information is that radio
or newspaper, or
newspaper, radio
or television. Yes, there was no GSM.
Then a whole lot of newspaper. Then, in fact, everybody want to read papers.
Yes.
So then, Daily Times, the Concord, Tribune.
But now the newspapers are in your palms.
Softcom, you go about with it.
Yes.
So you can read everywhere. So then it is either you read newspaper or you watch NTA only.
Yes,
NTA.
because the media industry was not liberalized. There was no private stations. Yes.
Then we have Radio Nigeria, federally owned, and state-owned
TV stations, radio stations. Yes.
So then
we also had NAN, News Agency of Nigeria. You had the FRCN across all the states.
Network, this thing. Yes. Then of course, we had the privilege of listening to BBC,
VOA, Deutsche Welle,
and all of that.
Yes.
So those were the sources of information.
I remember when I used to listen to BBC. There's a Shakamomo, BBC Africa. I don't miss it every 6 p.m.
So those were the only sources that we had. But today, in fact, I don't even know the numbers of radio stations in
Lagos alone. The radio stations in Lagos alone, I'm sure they must be close to 100,
if not more than.
And if you go to Oyo State,
the same thing. So everywhere, even Ekiti,
yes, we have a lot of private radio stations.
Private stations.
Some are focused on, there are radio stations solely for sports.
Yes.
There are some for entertainment, they are from
trade.
Yes.
And what?
All area of specialization, so, they are focused on it.
And of course, TVs are accountable.
They are accountable.
Whether cable or...
And even if you have your internet, you can watch. In fact, the radio you are talking about, there's a
world radio.
There's a world radio on internet that I can be listening to any radio station anywhere in the world.
So, but if the younger ones are not interested,
they are not. I'm not sure they are aware of it.
So now they're taking us back to the issue of electoral process and education.
Yes.
So I think the best way, is to meet them at their own level.
Okay.
Since today, they rely on other Twitter, as X, Facebook, and all this social media. So the thing is to design education programs, that will target
Their interests.
That can target, the platforms, then present it in a way that will look attractive to them. So, and of course, there are many ways we can do that. So that those skits and what have you.
Yes.
So that is the only way we can. Then take it down to them wherever they are, whether they are school campuses, design education material that we can take to them wherever they are.
But I think if we are designing a program like that, because I work for an organization called URIDAC, and that was one of our engagements recently under a collaborative program with an NGO here in Nigeria. And what we discovered is that if there's no enticement to draw them out of their cocoon, they will continue holding on to those distractions you have mentioned. For example, what we did was that we'll tell you that we have 5 questions on a module. That if you answer those 5 questions and you get it correctly, there's a reward.
That's a reward.
It's like we need to start thinking, because as you were talking, I was already thinking in my mind that yes, it's
So,
like
yes, of course, that will naturally, ginger their
interest.
Their interest. So it's part of those things. It's a question of, looking at the whole thing holistically, then see, okay, how do we meet them?
Maybe we can even develop games around.
Yes. And that's what I said. We can use several means, but to meet them where they are. In our own time, if you see posters,
We were the ones who run. In fact, I still tell my children, when I'm going on the road at times, I will see poster. I want to read. What is the information?
What is the information?
But these are young generation. The information is right in their palms, but they are not ready.
They are not ready for it. So then, no phone. You remember?
Phone.
There was no phone.
We are writing long letters.
Yes, now. If you want to visit somebody, you go there. You don't meet the person. You leave a note.
You leave a note. Yes.
I came here. I will be back so time. Then the person will wait for you. So then, but then I know that we have a whole lot of information. There's nothing going on that we were not aware of.
Of course, because
then mobilization was easy. When the student movement, when you just so person is coming, you see everybody will want to listen. Who converse to listen. But today, if we want to organize program, you talk about enticement, and something that will even benefit them. If you don't tell them that there will be refreshments and there will be transport, this thing, you won't see anybody there. So, but again, it's not
it's because we have veered away from intellectualism to materialism.
Yes, but like I said, you have to meet them where they are. So whatever.
Because we don't have a choice.
You don't have a choice. You want to get to them. You won't get all of them, but you have substantial.
We can make those substantial ones we get can become the ambassadors and replicate.
They will represent their generation, and those ones will provide leadership for the
ones who want to be the layback.
The layback. So, and I think that's the only way we can go about this thing, and then we can now all the electoral process, 1, then the electoral laws and rules, 2, break them down in smaller pieces that will then languages they understand. Not necessarily English, so it can be infographics, whichever way. So it's a thing that requires a lot of
I think here on the conversation, that is one duty we'll keep on doing as we continue in our democratic journey, because we want to have an informed citizenry who will go to the polls and make informed choices. People will not be led by the nose. When candidates come up to say this, they can fact check. A lot of times people will just come up and say, I want to do this, I want to, I have a solution.
I want to create employment.
How? What is the roadmap?
What is the roadmap?
You say, no, don't worry. No, if you can't explain how you are going to create the roadmap, then you don't know what you are talking about. And even the person who is telling you want to create the roadmap, look at his antecedent. Where is it coming from? We need to be asking questions. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is how far we want to go on the conversation today. We've had wonderful conversations around these topics. Till we come your way again next time, please continue to watch the conversation from TV 360 here in Lagos, Nigeria. Have a great day. Bye-bye.